unfold, you need the means to carry it out. And this is when funding becomes a concern, because it doesn't matter how good an idea you have, if you don't have the necessary funding to develop it, then your emerging business is never going to take off. So, well, traditionally, the different sources for financing were basically either venture capitalists or traditional bank loans. However, entrepreneurs, startups, or new companies usually lack access to this type of funding. And this is exactly where crowdsourcing companies come into place, because they offer us an alternative to these traditional sources of financing. But what exactly is crowdfunding? Well, the World Bank defines it as a way for businesses or organizations to raise money from donations or investments from multiple people. So it's a different and innovative way to raise funds, different than it was in the past. So what benefits does this have? Well, according to an article by Erin L. Isa and Jack Zimmerman, the main benefit of this type of funding is that you don't have to worry about interest rates eating you up like you would if you went to get a loan at the bank. Because instead of paying your creditors in interest, you would be actually paying them either with rewards or with shares, depending on the type of crowdfunding platform that you decided to use. Because, as said previously in the same article, there are mainly two types of crowdfunding platforms. First of all, we have rewards-based crowdfunding, in which donors receive products or services regarding the project, depending on the amount of money they contributed with. The most recognized companies that use this type of scheme are Kickstarter and Indiegogo. On the other hand, we have equity-based crowdsourcing platforms. In these ones, investors are actually receiving equity shares from the company in return for their contribution. The main companies that use this type of crowdsourcing are Republic, CircleUp, and Crowdfundr. But we also have a third category, like Fundable, that is a company that actually allows donors to choose whether they want rewards or equity. Okay, another benefit of using a crowdsourcing platform to fund your emerging business is that some of these companies are actually helping to level up the fundraising landscape to minorities. Take, for example, women. Women are statistically less likely to get financing. Let's look at these statistics taken from a Forbes article by Amanda Greenberg in 2018. From the total venture capital investment in 2017, just 2% was given to companies with an all-female team of founders, while 79% was given to companies with an all-male team of founders. The average deal size in millions of dollars of companies that are led by a man is approximately $12 million, whereas for women it's just a 5. What is this telling us? That there is actually a lot of inequality about fundraising. Now let's take a look at the comparison between a crowdsourcing platform and venture capitalism. Okay, so first we have from traditional venture capitalist investment in 2017, only 13% was given to companies that had at least one female founder, whereas on the other hand we have Republic, that is one of the crowdsourcing platforms that I was talking about before, that is equity-based. They gave about a 44% of their investment to companies with at least one female founder. And I'm going to make a stop right here because you might be thinking, what are the benefits, especially when we're talking about equity-based crowdsourcing? Like, you might be thinking, I'm not going to give away pieces of my company, much less to some people that bought it on the internet. Well, you got to think about it this way, as it is explained in a Forbes article by AJ Jadaf, which is the CEO of a company named Rumi. You got to think about it like, these people that are going to become your investors, that are now going to become shareholders, they now have a personal interest in your company. Because if your company does well, if it's successful, then they're going to be successful and it's going to benefit them too. This causes them to, talk good about your company, spread the word about your product, which it does increase significantly your brand recognition. So it's a good way to get your product being talked about in the market. And I know it doesn't sound as appealing to share pieces of your company with other people, but it has proven to be actually very beneficial, especially in the early stages of your company. So if you're either starting a business right now or planning to in the future, you should really consider crowdsourcing as a way to obtain your financing. Thank you.